have a really fun make to share with you this week, as well as a little bit of a meltdown. But let's go to the make first. Hi, it's Myrna. Thanks for joining me in my studio today. I wanted to have a really good sewing experience and create something that I'm referring to in my mind as a hug. I chose Vogue 1634, a Sandra Betzina pattern that is out of print. I don't think they styled the front of this pattern very well, and so a lot of people have missed how actually amazing it is. One of the reasons I chose it is for the number of seams. There are 6 pieces on the front, 5 pieces on the back, the sleeve, and a band at the bottom. It is one of the patterns that is cut out individually, a single layer, and I happen to actually like those. I find that they are a really fun sew. And there is nothing about sewing that I would say I hate. I'm okay with pinning my patterns, I'm okay with cutting out with scissors, I'm okay with changing my thread, I really love pressing, I'm fond of what top stitching does. So I wanted to sew this and just really enjoy every moment of it. For each of the seams, I serged finished the edges, I pressed them open, and then I couched this sparkly thread along each seam line so that they show up better. I needed a success because I feel like I've had a lot of failures in a row, and I want to try pushing the edges of my box, but not so much that I'm incredibly uncomfortable. So what I did with this one is I chose a different sleeve, just a slightly belled shape, but different than the one on this t-shirt, which is what I commonly wear. And I think I like that. I made it 7/8 length. I typically go with 3/4. I don't like long sleeves. I find they really get in my way. So I settled on 7/8. When I saw this pattern, there were a couple things I knew I would need to do right away. I am short-waisted, so I immediately needed to adjust the position of the waist on the pattern to where mine actually is. I'm also petite in the armhole, so I always need to shorten this. But before I shorten that, I need to narrow the shoulders. I also have square shoulders. When I narrow the seam line, typically they'll tell you to redraw that line connecting the dot at the neck to the dot position that the shoulder point has moved to. That doesn't work for me. I follow the original line and carry it straight out, and then create my armhole from there, measure that depth. My armhole depth is 7 inches, adjust that to 7 inches. And then I will have a pattern that will fit in the shoulders, fit in the armhole depth, and fit to the body. I was really happy with how the dress turned out, and I'm going to put in some pictures of the way I would style it with some jewelry and scarves. And after that, I'll tell you about my meltdown. We just got in from outside, so my glasses are a bit foggy. I've had quite a few comments about my jewelry and about styling with jewelry, so I thought I'd just show you a couple of ways I might wear this. If I still wanted it to be understated but play up the sparkle, I might use something simple like this. If I wanted to really play up the sparkle, remember Millicent's neck is fatter than mine, I might do something like that. And if I wanted a necklace but a more casual look, I might go with this. Now this looks way heavier than it is. It is silver foil balls with polymer clay over top. If I needed warm and cozy, but I still wanted sparkle, I might do this. And if I wanted, I could also, gosh, I say if I wanted a lot, aren't I? I could still put this with that. Another way would be with a much more casual scarf. This is a long rectangle that I've tied in a knot. What I do is I put the end away from the knot first, and then twist the knot back over and let the ends dangle like that. So that's just a couple of the ways I might wear this along with shoes. A couple things happened this week, and neither of them is particularly earth-shattering. It's just that they happened at the same time and at the same time as other things, and you know how the snowball goes. One of them was in last week's video when I was showing you this cabinet, and the video showed me from behind, and you could see this lump. I'm actually grateful for that lump. 10 years ago, I pitched headfirst into a stairwell down 14 stairs. I was lucky that my sock caught on a nail and didn't let go. Be better if it hadn't caught at all, but didn't let go. And so I hit the noses of the stairs with the entire side of my body, and this hip took the brunt of it. Currently, it's 1.5 inches bigger than the opposite side, but at that time it was 17 inches bigger with all the inflammation and water and bleeding, and it was fairly traumatic. I have stitches over my eye here. And so when I look at that incident and I look at my hip on a good day, most days are okay, I'm very grateful. I'm grateful that I'm not dead, paralyzed, brain damaged. But I did not realize it was that visible from behind. I thought that I had altered my styles to be less close fitting, to be more of the belled shape, so that it wasn't visible. For some reason, that just really struck me last week and sort of brought back all those memories as something that I had to deal with. So at the moment I hate pants, and I'm working on skirt ideas. At the same time as you're looking at, you know, these things that have happened to your body accident-wise, you're also looking at these things that have happened to your body aging-wise. That your ankles are thicker than they used to be, that you have a roll around your tummy. And none of this matters. What matters is we're alive and breathing or whatever. It only matters when you're trying to fit it into a style and trying to figure out the style that you absolutely feel your best at. Coming back to this much sewing again is delightful. I'm really enjoying it. But I have had a lot of failures in a row, and I just started feeling like an imposter, like I didn't know what I was talking about. When I put up my first video, I didn't think anyone would notice. I thought I'd slide this first video in, and then over time I would figure out how to not get ring lights in my eyes, where to sit in my studio, where to have, you know, where to walk. Did I need to paint that wall? What format did I want? And currently 11,000 people have shown up to that first video. I did not expect that. And I actually don't know what to do with it, because suddenly I felt like they were expecting something from me that I couldn't provide. And I've had to stop and breathe and think about what do I want to do and what do I want to share and what is my approach. And for now, I don't want to talk about failures. I have them, so know that they're happening in the background, but I would like to talk about at least one success a week. I might have to stockpile some successes for the weeks when things don't go well. I really need to breathe and to have fun with sewing and to enjoy sharing sewing with other people. It's something I have loved my whole life, and I don't want to lose it. So I may focus a little too heavy on patterns I've sewn before or patterns that I know will be more successful and take my risks in small increments. But I really appreciate everyone who has watched my videos and has signed up and commented. That is such a compliment. Now I'm going to tell you, that's my favorite part, when people comment and I get to reply. When they like it, I don't always know why they liked it, so that's lovely, but not always what I know what to do with. The thing that YouTube is measuring now is duration. So if you have a channel that you really want to support, watching the entire video is what YouTube is now measuring. They don't measure subscribers and likes nearly as much. It's duration. Did you go through the whole thing? So, whoever you want to support, watch their whole video. Going forward, I will continue making a weekly video. I'm glad I've returned to fashion sewing. I'm super happy you're all here, and I appreciate your support and encouragement, and I want to return that. Thanks for being here. See you next week.